My name is David Mierswa. I want to welcome back the gentleman from last night. I'm an attorney at law, just who you wanted to listen to speak today, right? And a long-winded attorney. So my background, I've been a lawyer for the last 17 years. Been practicing law. I'm licensed in Illinois and Wisconsin. I grew up with guns. I grew up in Wisconsin, and I wasn't aware of the political environment 10, 15 years ago in Illinois. And to us cheeseheads, and I hate to say what happened to the Packers, man, I'm still crying about them losing, but eventually I'll get over it. But I grew up in it never even occurred to me that it was the Second Amendment culture. We just grew up with rifles and guns, and it was an everyday tool. Hunting to wane the deer crowd and take care of the deer population. And so I grew up around guns. It was natural. And I got out of law school in 1999, and I moved to Illinois, got married, and then I wanted to transport my firearms down to Illinois. They started talking about this FOID card. I'm like, what the hell is what did you call it? A FOID card. I'm like, what the hell's that? I'm like, don't you just need a driver's license? Everything's good? No, you need a FOID card. Illinois is the only state that requires a separate ID card, FOID card. Unbelievable. So I went out, got the FOID card, whatever. Went on, started my own law firm about 16 years ago in law offices of David Mierswa. Went on my own right away after doing an externship. My background, been married for, oh boy, she's going to kill me on this because I'm videotaping. Been married since 99, together for 21 years with my wife. She's a lawyer. So after 21 years of her being able to put these precise arguments together, and she's, women remember all these dates, so I basically just shut up. It's one of the few times I don't even bother to argue. So that's my background. My law firm practices civil law, which big difference between criminal and civil law. Civil law is like for real estate. I practice commercial law. I do wills and estates, and I also do smaller personal injury. So I got a 2-minute story I'm going to tell you here that I told last night. It was 5-6 years ago. I got involved with a pretty involved case, and that's when the economy went south. There were a couple people from California. I did foreclosures and so forth. Some gentleman from California decided to threaten my life, threaten my family's life. I took that pretty seriously, so I went out and I called my buddy Craig Lawrence, who has been a private investigator for 25 plus years. I have some flyers in front here, you may want to grab them. The front 2 seats. So my life was threatened, and I gotta say it was pretty alarming. So I called my buddy Craig. He came over, did a security risk assessment, and basically assessed, it's like, dude, you're wide open, and if something happens, not going to be able to protect yourself. I haven't picked up a firearm in quite a few years, and so I went out and I just thought, like Wisconsin, you could get CCW or whatever. Well, that wasn't the case. And then there were cases in Chicago and Cook County where you couldn't carry your firearm outside the house. Well, where's the threat going to come from? Outside in or inside out? Outside in. So we went out. I did purchase a recent firearm. At least I could protect myself in the house. So that was about six years ago already. That started me on the avenue of the Second Amendment. I started seeing all these cases and rules out there, specifically in the city of Chicago and Cook County. And I couldn't believe the crap that they were shoveling. It really just, it got me ticked off. There's not a lot of things that really, get me highly, pissed off, but that was one of them. And I started seeing what they were doing. People couldn't protect themselves in their own home. And when you're walking outside, you can't protect yourself. So fast forward today. We got CCW today, and 16-hour course, but a lot of people are not trained beforehand what to do in a deadly force encounter. And I meet a lot of people that, I'll pull out my weapon, I'll just take care of the threat, whatever that is, then I'll go about my day. Well, they have no idea of the storm that's right above their head. They have no idea. So my buddy and I, Craig, authored a book. It's called Forced to Shoot, Comprehensive Guide to Survive in the Aftermath of Deadly Force Encounter. Again, Forced to Shoot, a comprehensive guide, aftermath of deadly force encounter. I read a lot of manuals on the tactics of how to protect yourself. All of the books out there were telling you, how to go about your house, how to, go protect yourself, how to go behind like book counters. Basically, it was all strategy, how to use that weapon. But that's only probably 1/10 of the game. So the game is legally what can happen to you. So we wrote the book Forced to Shoot. And we talk about within Forced to Shoot about some of the different scenarios that you can get involved with in a deadly force encounter. And if you don't have a plan of action beforehand, and you are not psychologically and physically ready to take this on, this is going to be the biggest confrontation of your life. And it may not be with the perpetrator you just put down. It's going to be with yourself. So the book, we talk about all the legal things you need to know, what we consider to be important. We talk about the AOJ formula. We talk about 911 and response when the police get there, what to do beforehand when you call 911. We talk about the aspects of being arrested. Has anyone been arrested out in the audience at all? Not one person's gonna admit they've been arrested. I got a hand in back. See, you look like such a nice guy. He said, I'm a nice guy. The officer always makes the mistake. So I want to say this, I'm videotaping this, and I respect all law enforcement. They got a tough job. I respect all law enforcement, but they're politically motivated as well. There are a lot of officers out there and their commanders thinking you shouldn't be able to bear firearms and protect yourself, let alone carry in public, that you're a nuisance. Another reason for a book. So we talk about getting arrested, what to say, more importantly, what not to say. We talk about the criminal case and also the civil case. Who in this crowd, if you get involved with a match with someone, and let's say, they pull out a knife, you pull out your sidearm, and you brandish a weapon. They run away, all of a sudden cops pull up, you got your firearm still out. We talk about how to handle the police and what to do, what not to get shot. And then also, we talk about how to preserve evidence, how to point out evidence, and then what to say to the arresting officer. And you can expect to be arrested for sure. Our book goes on to also talk about the civil lawsuit. That's about 90% of my practice is civil lawsuit. So let's say you're not criminally charged, then we go over all the aspects of a civil lawsuit. So let's say you brandish someone, a firearm, that's called brandishing. That's a felony here in Illinois. You can get sued civilly for that. Intentional infliction of emotional harm. You get sued civilly. So we go over all the civil aspects. Here's another thing in the book as well. We talk about estate planning and asset protection. Yesterday, I spoke a little bit more on asset protection and estate planning. What if you get locked up, sir? You look like a real friendly guy over there. And what if you say the wrong thing to that officer? You get arrested. And what if you need to take out money for bail money? And all the money is in your name and your account at some bank. Who are you going to call to get that out? If you don't have a durable power of attorney, to get that money out. Who's going to get that money?